journalizing, right? So journal is a book, okay? It is known as a book of original entry or a primary entry. Okay, when a transaction takes place for the first time, you will record in this book. Okay, it's a primary book. It is the first book in accounts. For the first time, if any business transaction takes place, you record it here. And this book has a format. Okay, this book has a format. This is the format. The first column belongs to the date, second column, particulars, the details. Okay, third column, generally it is not recorded. Okay,
Sir, we cannot hear you, sir.
you can't hear me. Now, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it shows the internet is unstable. Yeah. So, uh, right, date column, particulars column, voucher number. Okay, in practice it is used, but generally in academic purpose, this is exempted. So you remember five important columns: date, particulars, LF column, debit and credit. Date, particulars, LF ledger folio, debit and credit. Once again, date, particulars, ledger folio, debit amount, credit amount. Now, date is the date on which this particular transaction takes place, and the particulars are, the name of the account which is to be debited, and the name of the account that is to be credited, and a short description of that particular transaction called narration. Narration. Okay. Now, ledger folio. What is ledger folio? Ledger folio, ledger folio is the page number in which this particular transaction reflects in the ledger. Ledger is a book containing so many accounts. Okay, all accounts are, recorded in that book, that single book, which is bulky. For every account, they will earmark 5 pages, 10 pages, depending on the volume of transaction for that particular account. So in which page this particular, transaction is reflecting in ledger, the page number. Ledger folio means the page number in which this transaction appears in ledger. Okay, in ledger, what will you write? Journal folio. There you will write journal folio. It is the page number in which the transaction is recorded in the journal. And yeah, the next column is debit column. Debit column, or the first line is debit, the second line is credit. Okay, the amount against the first column, okay, is written in the debit column. The amount written against the second line is written in the credit column. Okay. Now the double entry system says that all debits should be equal to credits. If I'm giving, there must be somebody to receive. Yes, stop me when it is up. The time is up. Okay. So yeah, when there's a giver, there's a receiver. There's a receiver, right? Now, look at the explanation in detail. Yeah, you can just have a look at. There's a date column, contains the date. Particulars column, okay, it contains the account to be debited, account to be credited, right? And the description called narration. Next, voucher number. Okay, this is not for academic purpose. Ledger folio. Yeah, this is a page number, right? Debit amount and credit amount. Yeah, look at this. As per voucher number, okay, the voucher number is given, but generally, yeah, for examinations, you need not. But for, why I have included here, when you get into job suddenly, you should not be surprised. Why this is not taught in the college? Okay, and this column is appearing here, right? So it should not be a shock for you. Therefore, I've given it here, right? But for the examination, you can write just 5 columns. Okay, As per voucher number 31 of Roy Brothers, on 10th of May 2019, goods of 50,000 were purchased. Cash was paid immediately. Ledger folios of the purchase account and cash accounts are 5 and 17 respectively. 5 and 17 respectively. Journal entry of the above transaction. Write the journal entry for this transaction. There is a date. Bring this date and drop here in the date column. Okay, over. Now goods bought for 50,000. Okay, goods are bought. For what? Cash was paid immediately. For cash. It is not for credit. It is for cash. 50,000 goods for cash are bought. So purchase of goods account debit, or simply purchases account, or simply goods account. You can write anything. If you want it to be full purchase of goods account, which nobody does generally, very rarely people do that, you can simply write purchase account or goods account. I don't know what's the practice in your school, right? So whatever is a practice, you can write that. Now, so purchases account debit, okay, purchase account debit to, yeah, cash account. Now you have to give, when you're writing, when you're coming to the next line, you have to give 1, 2, 2 letters space, 2 letters space, and write to, okay, write to cash account, right? Purchases account debit, the next line, leave 2 letter space and write to cash account. Okay, and what is this? What is this? Yeah, write this description. Write this description. Being goods purchased for cash. You know, the narration generally starts with being goods, okay, purchased, being goods sold, being salaries paid, being machinery purchased. Okay, so it starts with being, and you can write your convenient wordings, wordings that you're comfortable with, right? It starts with being, right? This is a short description. Voucher number you're writing, we don't do that. Ledger folio, okay, you're writing 5 and 17, okay, yeah, this is comma, right? And amount debit, amount to be debited is 50,000. Look at this one. Actually, yeah. Actually, this should be like this. All right. It is misbehaving. Against purchase, 50,000 should be returned. Against cash, 50,000 should be returned.
So the time's
Against
done.
purchase in the debit, 50,000. Against cash in the credit, 50,000 should be returned. Right? Look at this one. Against this cash, 50,000 should be written here.
Excuse me, sir, the time's done.
Yeah. So we'll stop here, right? We'll continue in the next class.
Yes, sir.
Right. And you read every day's content on that very day, because it is not so big that you cannot read. It is hardly 2 or 3 pages. Right? Now see you in the next class. Good day.